So this is welcome to the ComicsPRO keynote speech for today. Our speaker today is a gentleman I think most of you probably are familiar with, Mr. Chris Powell. I'm sure, I'm digital now, I just want to be sure.
Sell out!
Chris Powell thinks outside the box. About 8 years ago, Gary Gills put together a tour of stores at the Baltimore Diamond Summit, and basically it was a school bus full of retailers. Which is hard.
Bad idea.
What?
It was a bad idea.
It was a great idea. And it was basically a school bus full of retailers driving around Virginia and DC drinking beers out of a cooler, except one, Chris Powell. He thinks outside the box. In this case, it was a box of wine. And if I recall correctly, it was a nice Shiraz, Bangkok Station, 2002. And I would also like to take this moment to thank the good folks at Diamond Comics for making it really easy this week to write the rest of this introduction. Some excerpts from a recent press release. Veteran of over 20 years in the comic industry, Chris Powell was the general manager and chief relationship officer of the Lone Star Comics retail chain and MyComicShop.com. He also served as a founding board member of ComicsPRO and as a past president of the board of the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund. Chris joined Diamond a year ago as executive director of business development to focus on developing programs to strengthen and grow the comic book specialty market. This week, Diamond promoted Chris to the newly created position of vice president of retailer services. He'll continue his business development efforts while also assuming responsibility for Diamond's customer service and technical support departments. When you translate all that fancy language, it really means what it really means is that Chris's job is all about helping us improve our businesses. At Lone Star, he built stores and developed a website that is truly one of the best online resources for consumers and retailers to buy and sell comics. We talk a lot about making our shops pop culture centers, not just kiosks for the week's periodicals, and Chris was a pioneer in that movement. I don't know if anyone here, if you've ever been to one of the Lone Star stores, but they're great comic book stores, and they're just great stores to go in and shop in and look around in, and that's this guy here. At Diamond, in this past year, he started a program to get publishers to give you product for buying a POS system. So how cool is that, right? And one of the things that the press release didn't mention, but it's really an important thing, loves his mom. Very important thing. And hopefully, I mean, we all should love our moms, but hopefully the POS system and all that stuff is only the beginning of the innovations we're going to see as Chris continues in his job. So without further ado, the man, the myth, the tiki god, Chris Powell.
Carr did make it easy because he just took off about half of my talk. I was just going to read that same press release. So this is my 7th ComicsPRO meeting. Coincidentally, it is the 7th ComicsPRO meeting. I've been really proud to be involved in all 7 in one way or another. The first 3 I planned with Amanda and the other members of the board. We started out in Vegas, moved on to Memphis, then Dallas, and now here. I did those first 3 as a board member, the next 3 as a retailer, and then this is my first time here as a sponsor. And it's been really gratifying so far. I appreciate all the support that I've heard from people who I've known for years, who really make me feel like I made the right decision, but it was a tough decision. Being a retailer was really important to me. I enjoyed my time. I spent 22 years at Lone Star, like Carr said, and I grew up there. My mom actually is still the buyer. She's sitting back by David Wheeler. She's still the buyer for Lone Star. She and I have worked together that entire time. And so it was not very easy to say, oh, by the way, I'm leaving and going off to do something. But, I think that you'll see, that I had a reason for doing it. I do have a foolproof audience test, though, that I have to administer before we get started because I need to know what kind of crowd this is. And so, much to Amanda's chagrin. So a pirate walked into the ComicsPRO meeting yesterday, and he had a giant ship's wheel sticking out of his pants. And Amanda said, "You realize you have a steering wheel sticking out of your pants?" And he said, "Arr, it's driving me nuts." All right, we're off to a good start. So at that first ComicsPRO meeting 7 years ago, Amanda and I sat down with the rest of the board, but the two of us, we were the ones who were really excited about picking a theme. It's kind of like prom. You wanted to have a theme, that way we could have a cool logo on the front of the binder. And so we found a cute little map, X marked the spot, and made me think of the pirate deal. And the theme for that first year was charting the course. And we thought that we were charting the course for this retailer organization. We sat down with the rest of the board and said, this is the year where we're going to decide what direction we're going to go. What I don't think we realized until a lot later was that that first meeting set the tone for how this industry was going to grow and what we were going to accomplish together, by sitting down together, working through our problems, all coming together once a year to share ideas. And that first year, probably not as organized as it is this year. We sat in that little hotel in Las Vegas. We had some retailers we couldn't get to show up to meetings because they were winning too much money at blackjack, Gary does. We had other retailers who are not here today who fell asleep at the back table after a late night out. The meetings have grown up just like the rest of us have. This is the most professional meeting that I've seen so far. Amanda and them have done a really good job of putting it together. You have more suppliers this year than ever, and that's a testament to the work that you guys do day in and day out. Yesterday, we sat and we talked with DC, as they sponsored a day, and we talked about, what was different, where do they see things now as opposed to where they were then? How do they see their part of the market? Where do they think it's going? And one of the things that we kept hearing was that the comics market has astounded other parts of their industry, and we're still growing even in the face of digital comics, web comics, various kinds of competition. And other people look into our industry and say, we don't understand. We don't understand why that's happening. And I sat at the back of the room yesterday and I looked over all your heads, and I know exactly why it is, and it's because of you. The comics retailer and the comics industry are unique to what we do. We have customers who come in every single week. They have a relationship with you, they have a relationship with the stories that they buy, they have a relationship with the characters that they love. And you can't think of another kind of entertainment that really has that connection with their customer base. And that's why they keep coming in week after week, because they want to see you. You run a place where a 15-year-old geek can come in and show you his homemade Wolverine claws or his Captain Carrot costume. And they aren't scared. They know that they're at a place where they'll be accepted, where there are other people who are just as nerdy as they are, but where they feel like they're at home. It's the one place besides their own home where they feel safe. And you guys do that week in and week out, and it makes all the difference. You should be proud of that. Those fans, nowadays it's not rare for them to walk around San Diego. I've been in nice restaurants and a guy in costume will just wander by and have a seat and order a steak. They don't even blink because they know that they're okay and they're proud of who they are. And I see you guys, if somebody who's not from our industry says something about the Simpsons comic book guy, and you get your hackles up. And you do that because you're proud of what you do, and you should be. We do something that's important to these people because they need that escape from their day-to-day. And you provide that for them. Besides a safe place, we all need just a place to go and unwind, and sometimes that's just sitting down with a comic and being somewhere else for them. These relationships that you form with your customers have brought us to what a lot of people call the second golden age of comics. Comics right now have more acceptance in the mainstream than they have maybe ever. There's more awareness of comics and comic themes. We're the genesis of, video games, movies, TV shows, and it all comes back to the fact that you nurtured that through the rough times. There were times that wasn't true. And you were there you fought the good fight, and now we're reaping the rewards for that. And that's a great thing, and you should be really proud of it, because the next generation of retailers who come along are doing it because you made it possible. You know, part of my new job at Diamond is to help those new retailers. And, you know, it's so much easier than it would have been in the past because I can point to success stories. I was on a business trip not too long ago, and I went and saw somebody who's just opened a new store. That new store had only been open maybe a month or two, but they already had just a really good flow of traffic in on Wednesday. They had families coming in. It was a place that was open and welcoming, and it was something that you would want to show off to your other friends. You would say, hey, I want to take you down to the store and see this. You know, I follow them on Facebook. You know, I follow a lot of you on Facebook, and it's great to see the things that you post there. You know, Midtown last week had a couple get engaged on the comic wall. You know, and that's cute. You know, it's the two people who came in and they reached for a Fables graphic novel at the same time or something, and, you know, nerd love. So, you know, where else can you do that? You can't do that in a mass market bookstore necessarily, you know, because it's just, it doesn't have that feel. And so, you know, it's a lot of fun for me to get to show people. You know, I had somebody call just a week ago, and I'm sitting at my desk, and he called me and said, one of my employees wants to open a comic shop. But you can't really make money doing that, can you? And I said, well, you can, but you have to work at it. I said, you have to have a plan. You know, I said, does he have a business plan? Has he looked at how much it costs to lease space in your area? There's 50 questions that have to be answered before you know if you can make money or not. You know, we've made it this long because the stores that have survived are the ones that are professional. You know, you run a nice store. You run a store that has good customer service. You take care of your customers. You take care of your business. You know, it's not a business anymore that somebody can just jump into without a plan. And that's one of the areas that ComicsPRO has always been leading the charge. You know, there's the mentoring forum that we started years ago where people can come in. I direct them there all the time. And there are other retailers who are there just to volunteer their time to help somebody new open a store. Because they know that we need more stores if we're going to continue going forward. You know, we always need more stores. And I was really excited. You know, I said it was hard for me to decide to leave Lone Star. You know, I wasn't just leaving Lone Star. I packed up a house and 2 cats and, you know, waved goodbye to my parents and my friends and said, I'm going to Maryland. But I did it because, you know, when I talked to Roger Fletcher on the phone, I saw they posted this job and I called, and then I talked to Chuck Parker later. They understood what we needed for us to all have a strong industry going forward. You know, they said, we've talked to publishers, they are willing to commit the resources to help people open new stores, to help people modernize existing stores with POS systems. But we need somebody who actually understands those things, or it won't be as successful as it could be. And so we talked a lot over a few weeks, and eventually they decided I was the right person for that. I decided it was something I felt was the right thing for me to do, packed up my stuff, got in the car, and 10, 11 months later I can say it was the right thing to do. A little dodgy at first. It's the cats in particular, they were not fans. If you ever put 2 cats on a plane, don't. So that's how I ended up here. That's how you ended up here. But we have to figure out where we go next. You know, we have right now unprecedented access to new customers. We have great ways to market ourselves and our stores to new customers and get them in. But, you know, there's still a ways to go in making sure that we have a healthy market that can last. And a lot of that is, you know, you need to take this opportunity and say, okay, I'm making more money than usual. I could go buy a car. Or I can shore up my store for something unexpected down the road. And I think that that's what we all have to do with our business, is really look at how can I make sure that this is going to last for the next generation. Because we have things just in the last few weeks. We had a hurricane that shut stores down that nobody could have prevented or known was going to happen. You know, we had a car drive through a store 4 or 5 days ago, whatever it was. You know, these are things that, you know, yes, the people can come back. But they're hard, and you need to make sure that you sort of put aside that rainy day fund. Always be looking at, as a share, as a portion of money that comes in each month, what can I sock away? What can I do to make sure that my store and my family are protected in the event that something like that happens? We all need to do that. You need to be looking at your store and say, okay, what can I do to be that much better than I was a year ago at this time? Do I need to work on my web presence? Do I need to replace some worn fixtures? Excuse me. Do I need to invest in a point of sale system because I haven't done that yet? The publishers are, helping you out. They're providing resources, but you have to be the one that takes those steps. And you don't have to do it alone. The publishers are providing resources. We at Diamond are there to help. We have, we'll introduce at the panel today. We have Cheryl Sloboda, who's been with us for a long time. She's always there to help. She's providing materials for new stores and existing stores to make better use of the things that we do. Emily Testerman, she's our new manager of retailer marketing. She's always looking for things that you guys do that you want to share with other retailers and put stories in Diamond Daily that say this is something that works great for me. The most important thing to remember is that you aren't alone. We're there to help. Your fellow retailers are there to help. And we really want to see everybody continue to move forward. And I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you guys this morning. And I'll be here the rest of the weekend. I love spending time with you. And thanks very much.